Any computer user who is a computer user will always have a question in their mind. What is this HDD and SSD? Who should install it? Which one will be better in terms of speed? How is it in terms of price? These many questions would come to those who want to buy a computer. They also often ask this question, whether to install SSD or HDD. Come, today I will tell you in a very simple way and in easy language what is the difference between HDD and SSD and which one is going to be best for you. Hello, I am Ashakala. You are very welcome in this video of mine. If you like this video even a little bit, then do like and share this video. The channel is yours, and also subscribe. First of all, let's talk about the full form. Let's take HDD. It means that it is hard disk drive. Its full form can be seen on the screen that it is SSD. It is solid state drive. So the first point, I told you what is the full form. Second point, now how does it look? Which is HDD, which is hard disk. It will look like this to you. And what is SSD? It will look like this to you. If we look at the size of both, then the hard disk drive is a little bigger. It has to take more space inside the CPU. If you install it, it will cover more space, whereas the SSD is smaller. Look at the screen. I have taken a 1 terabyte hard disk, and on this side, I have taken a 1 terabyte SSD here, so you can see the space. You can say that SSD is very thin and small. That is, if someone wants to cover more storage, then SSD can cover more storage and it will take up less space. Now, talking about number 3, price comparison. The hard drive is cheaper. Because the variant above this comes with SSD, its price is quite low. For example, if you buy a 500 gigabyte hard disk drive, you will get it for around $25. Whereas, if you buy a 500 gigabyte SSD, you will get it between $50 to $70. So, there is a difference in price. You can even see its price double or triple. So, if we are going to pay this much for an SSD, then what will be special in SSD? That too, I will tell you. Let me tell you that number 4. If we talk about system speed and performance, the speed of a hard disk drive is normally up to 160 megabits per second. Whereas, if we talk about SSDs in terms of speed, it starts from 200 megabits per second to 1000 or even 1500 megabits per second. If you buy a cheap one, you will get SSDs up to 300 or 200 megabits per second. But if you buy a higher-end SSD, it will be available at a good price in a good range. You will also find those with speeds up to 500 megabits per second. In terms of speed, SSD surpasses the hard disk drive. That's why people who do video editing or gaming or have to do 3D work prefer SSDs. If you are watching my video and buying a computer for animation or a laptop, then go for one with an SSD. So, in terms of speed, I told you that SSD is ahead. Now, a question comes up. Is a hard disk better? You should consider it. Those who have a lower budget can opt for a hard disk because you will get more space inside it. If you take an SSD, then you will have to pay more money for it. You will get less space, but more speed. So, those who want to store a lot of data, larger storage, can buy a hard disk. And if you want to buy something in terms of speed, then it is SSD. Now the second question is for those who do not want to buy an SSD. If you have a tight budget and want to buy a computer, then don't think about SSD. But if you wait for a few days and buy an SSD, it can be beneficial for you. Today, in this video, I told you about SSD versus HDD. If anyone wants to buy a laptop or computer and wants to know more, the link is given in the description of the video. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and share it by subscribing to the channel and ringing the notification bell. SSD and HDD links are in the description.